My name is Andy Carlson, and in the United States, I'm a professor of history at Capital University in Columbus. And in Ethiopia, over the last 5 years, I've been working with an organization that called the Kasoye Development Program that works with the University of Gondar to improve health and food security for rural people. I'm affiliated with the University of Gondar because I grew up in Ethiopia. My dad gave me his historical papers, and I went back to Ethiopia with him to write a book about rural development activities that the University of Gondar had been engaged in. The upshot of my research was that I discovered malnutrition was increasing in rural Ethiopia. In other words, people are getting poorer. Knowing northern Ethiopia really well, I could observe, traveled all around the world, that they had a diet that was based on meat and grain. Meat and grain diets do not make the most efficient use of land and water. They're also associated with different kinds of malnutrition, particularly micronutrient malnutrition. So it occurred to me that I should introduce vegetables into the rural economy. And in 2005, 2006, I decided to take $200 extra that I had in my wallet and try to buy some vegetable seeds. And I couldn't find any. You know, it's clear to me that people weren't eating vegetables. So they had a truncated, impoverished food culture. Vegetables make efficient use of land and water. They provide a lot of micronutrients, especially vitamin A. And so it seemed to me I should teach people how to grow chard and carrots. We've introduced the idea to the University of Gondar School of Agriculture that they should focus on horticulture, vegetables, rather than grains and oil. And I think that they're persuaded. We've built a lot of demonstration gardens at schools and in communities. And we hold workshops for kids and mothers. And so in the context of their economy, growing vegetables makes sense. There's no shortage of labor. They actually do have land shortage. They don't have the micronutrients from vegetables. It's a value added. What the Kasoye Development Program does is teach gardening, vegetable gardening, to women. And the idea is that around the house, in the lands around the house, the people's yards, there can be small areas that are dedicated to vegetables that the women have access to. And the interesting thing, we do wide-scale height and weight measurements of people with gardens and those without. And we've already demonstrated that women in houses with gardens are taller than girls in houses without gardens. Africa is urbanizing very, very rapidly. The population's increasing rapidly. People are going to the cities. If I were in the World Bank or some other important place, I would be emphasizing the design and the building of intelligent African cities. I think it will be very difficult for Ethiopia to sustain a large population. And so one question is, will 90 million people become 180 million people? Because with their birth rate, the population doubles every 22 years. And if the population is 180 million people, you're going to have catastrophes. They have to get real about the dangers of a modernization theory that emphasizes concrete structures, petroleum-based transportation, and this idea that everybody in the world is going to be able to live like an American. If they continue down that path, it'll just be very sad for them. By planting trees, if they protect water sources, if they engage in the big solution, an intense permaculture project for the country. So they hold, they rebuild topsoil, they hold water in valleys, they have as much plant diversity as possible, introduce as many vegetables and other crops that are high value, that provide lots of food per square meter. If they become fantastic gardeners, they can survive.